Hello everyone, I hope that you've had time to look at this fabulous exhibition of dresses, wedding dresses. I've been doing weddings since 1949 when I first started working in a flower shop, and I've been doing it ever since. But you find that there's a lot of differences in brides and their mothers and who plans the weddings. So you have to be on both sides, because mothers want one thing and daughters often want something else. But you know, we try to make the arrangements fit the wedding. We have girls that have weddings in churches, in hotels, in homes. Some of them are very, very formal, and some are very, you know, kind of laid back. And we can do all of those. But I have some things to show you today, this evening, about the different types of wedding bouquets. We'll go through the wedding bouquets first. This is called a cascade bouquet, and it's to be carried by the bride, usually on her right hip, because her father will take her down the aisle. She will hand this to her matron of honor during the wedding, and our maid of honor, as the case may be. And this one is made of antique roses stock, which has a wonderful fragrance to it, and baby's breath, or gypsophilia as we call it. This was a very popular bouquet several years ago. Not too many people use the filler like gypsophilia anymore. They choose different fillers for the bouquet. But this is one of the more common bouquets that we make. It's easy to handle, it's easy to carry. The only problem is it's very heavy. And if the bride carries this bouquet and she intends to throw her bouquet after the wedding, she usually has a smaller bouquet made that's easy to toss. So we don't always make just one bouquet, we often do two for the bride. It's up to the bride what she wants to do. We do our very best to help her with it. So to go along with the bride's bouquet, we have the little flower girl. And this is palm. This is made out of artificial flowers for this showing, but we do it in fresh flowers too. And the little flower girl used to carry a white basket full of rose petals, and she would stroll them down the aisle as in front of the bride, and the bride would follow the flower girl down the aisle. But later on, churches began to object to petals, because most of the churches then had aisles that had carpet on them, and they felt that the rose petals stained the carpet, and also they were afraid that rose petals would be slick and therefore a danger for falling. So generally they carry something like this now. Some churches still allow the flower girls baskets, and we still do them, but more than ever we're doing this sort of thing now. And for the flower girl, this is a little, this is also artificial, but we do it with fresh. As you can see, perhaps it's got a comb on the back, and she wears this in her hair. The bride can also do a tiara that similar to this, rather larger though, to wear in her hair if the bride wants to wear the flowers in her hair. We can certainly do that. So this would go with this bouquet. And this bouquet has a different look to it. It's a bouquet that goes over on both sides, and the bride often would carry this one hip high right into here, because she wants her dress to show on both sides. And this it's not a cascade, it's more of a U-shaped, upside down U-shaped bouquet. And it has the white roses, which is traditional for a bride. Used to, we always had stephanotis or stephanotis. We hardly ever get them anymore. I don't know why, but they've gone out of style. They were very expensive. I guess is one reason we don't use them so much anymore. But this is a daintier bouquet, I think, and it's easier to handle. It's still heavy because this bouquet and that one is made in a bouquet holder. And this is a filler there that's used, and it contains water. So the bouquet is very lasting, and some of the girls really like that. They like to keep the bouquet looking pretty for several days. It has the large antique roses, the tiny little white roses, and the filler. It also has a string of pearls. That was a very popular thing for years ago, but we don't do pearls much anymore. But if the bride wants them, we've got them, and we can certainly do that for her also. And with that bouquet, we also have for the flower girl a little halo for her hair. Now this is just the baby's breath and ivy, but we can do more with that. If she wants a better piece like this, you cut the little roses off. We've been blessed in the floral industry over the years with new things coming on the market. Like glue. We have a floral glue now. So all we do is maybe I'll move this so that you can see what I'm going to do. We put a touch of glue here. And you add it. And if the bride wants to wear a halo, we can do the same thing for her, make it larger. But it just makes the halo a little more special by adding the little roses or anything we want to do. But the roses are always pretty. The miniature roses adds a great deal to the bouquet. So this adds a great deal to the halo. It's in the back. We have the satin streamers, shower ribbon. Sometimes we take the roses and place some in this area too. There's lots of different ways to do a design, and that's what florists do. They design. And my degrees are in art, and I did teach art at junior high school before I opened my flower shop in 1960. So it's been a fun trip for me because I started working in a flower shop in 1949, the year I entered college, and I worked my way through college because I have 3 sisters. And my father told me that we would all go to college, we'd all get at least a bachelor's degree. And a country grocery store doesn't make a lot of money, and I was the only boy, and I had 3 sisters, so 2 or 3 of us would be in school at the same time. So he said, Mark, you get you a job. So I went around looking for a job, and a flower shop in Denton, Texas hired me. And this flower shop happened to be one that did most of the weddings in Denton. And there were a lot of weddings done because it's a college town. There were two, and still are, two colleges in Denton, and a lot of the college graduates got married as they came out of school. So we did a lot of weddings, and I learned to do weddings and have enjoyed it ever since. But you know, about 2 or 3 years ago, it's been longer than that, I guess, a little bit. Jane and I were in Denton. We have a granddaughter who works for the University of North Texas, and we were there visiting her on the weekend, and we went to church. We were late getting there because we didn't know where the church was, and we went in kind of late, and we sat on the back row. And as church ended, the lady sitting in front of us turned around and said, "You're visitors?" We said, "Yes, we're from Odessa, Texas." She said, "You're from Odessa, Texas?" She said, "I grew up in Odessa, Texas. Who are you?" And I said, "Well, my name is Mark Knox. You did my wedding 25 years ago." So you never know what's going to happen as you travel around. Florists are pretty kind fellas. We like people, and we like to be around them. And when we talk about attendance bouquets, a lot of weddings are on a budget, and we try to do the things that will be beautiful and still be on a budget. This is a single flower. The stem would be cut off a little bit. I didn't cut this one off because I want to put it back in the water. But anyway, just a single flower. This is a hydrangea, and with a ribbon that matches, does a pretty good job, because as she goes down the attendants go down the aisle, it's easy to carry, it's very lightweight, and looks pretty good. So this is a single flower for an attendance. And this, we have 3 flowers. It's also for the attendants. Three beautiful roses. It's a very pretty thing, and she usually would carry this sideways, as you know, leaning like we did an arm bouquet. And it's a good flower for the attendants to carry. It's easy to carry, and it's for an economy wedding, but it's very, very nice bouquet. This is very heavy, but it's a beautiful bouquet, and it's made in a bouquet holder, a crystal bouquet holder. Make you hold it so you can see it. This was made by Chris Columbine, that runs my flower shop in Midland, and Chris said he would be glad to do a bouquet or 2 for us. So this is the one that he made, and it's a beautiful bouquet. Midland does more weddings bouquets than we do in Odessa. Midland has, I don't know why, but they seem to have more church weddings than we do in Odessa. But this is a very heavy bouquet, but most girls in Midland like the extra look of the crystal holder and that sort of thing. So it's typical cascade bouquet. This is a style that's used a great deal. It contains lilies, roses, 2 or 3 kinds of roses and the lilies, and it's a beautiful, beautiful bouquet. It's well balanced. Although it's heavy, it is really well balanced. This would be a bride's bouquet, and usually a bouquet like this would be used for a second bride, for a second wedding, because of all the color in it. The first wedding, we do the pastels or white, and then for the second wedding, we would do something like this with a lot of color, if the bride wanted it that way. We do have brides that've had 2 or 3 weddings that still want white flowers and they wear a white dress. That's up to them. We do what they want. We try to please everybody. And then we have one other bouquet. This is called a hand-tied bouquet. All the stems are left long, and the bouquet is designed by putting flowers through your hands. Actually, your hand becomes the mold for the flowers. So you get them all together, then you tie them up and leave the stem covered with the satin ribbon. And this is a very popular bouquet also. It can be used for the attendant's bouquet, the bride's bouquet. It has lots and lots of uses. This is about all we're going to show you today, but a few things like this. This is a corsage for the mothers. The powers that be say that mothers should not carry a bouquet. The mother of the bride should wear a corsage, either pinned on her dress or pinned on her purse if she carries a purse, or it could be made as a wrist corsage. Any of those things are supposed to be acceptable for the bride's mother. And then, of course, we have the men involved. And I thought I had it here a minute ago. I do. A boutonniere. This boutonniere would ordinarily be used when the bride carries a colored bouquet. We would use the colored boutonniere for her groom. However, we usually use white bouquets for a first wedding, for the gentleman, the bride's, the groom's attendants, the best man and his groomsmen, and they of course wear it on their lapel, pinned to their lapel. And that pretty well covers the flowers that we would use for a wedding. Then of course we've got the church to talk about. I have a picture of one of the most elegant weddings we've done in Odessa. It was in the First Methodist Church. It has an aisle runner, which would run, the white runner would come down the aisle just before the bride walked in, and she walked in on a white satin aisle runner. The aisle is covered with flowers all the way down from the entrance to the front. There are flowers up high, flowers low, and candles, lots of candles. These candelabra hold 15 candles each. And then we have the larger candles are on the choir rails and flowers in them. Then we have garlands hanging from the they're not called chandeliers, are they? Well, from the lights up high in the church. It was a beautiful, beautiful wedding, and we don't get to do weddings like this very often, but any wedding can be made beautiful. Doesn't have to be elaborate. It just can be beautiful. So I hope you've enjoyed this little visit we've had today, and be sure and take your time and visit the galleries with the beautiful dresses. They're magnificent, and they're very exciting because of the differences that we have from there until now. So thank you for coming. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.